Well, we begin with breaking news. Michigan State University announcing it plans to fire head football coach Mel Tucker.
Tucker has been the focus of a sexual harassment investigation. Right now, we're going to get right to Dan Miller for the latest.
Yeah, guys, in a statement today accompanied by relevant legal documents, Michigan State announced that they plan to terminate the contract of Mel Tucker for cause. This was the end game we anticipated, at least from Michigan State's side. Mel Tucker was never going to coach the Spartans again after his suspension. The only question was about the money remaining on his contract. With today's move, the university sends a clear signal. They do not intend to pay any of it. Alan Haller's statement, the athletic director, says, I, with the support of administration and board, have provided Mel Tucker with written notice of intent to terminate his contract for cause. This notification process is required as part of his existing contract. The notice provides Tucker with 7 calendar days to respond and present reasons to me and the interim president as to why he should not be terminated for cause. This action does not conclude the ongoing Office for Civil Rights case. That rigorous process will continue. In documents that were released along with the statement, Haller clearly cites the early termination provision in Tucker's contract, which can be enforced for a number of reasons. Those cited were the coach materially breaching his agreement, and also the coach engaging in conduct which constitutes moral turpitude, or which in the university's reasonable judgment would tend to bring public disrespect, contempt, or ridicule upon the university. They go on to cite specific actions by Tucker that were uncovered during the investigation that they say he has admitted to and are indisputable. They're clear that the hearing involving Mel Tucker and Brenda Tracy will go on as scheduled next month. But this is a signal that we are just a small part of the way through what figures to be a much bigger legal battle between Tucker and the university. All the documents released by the university, and there are a lot of them, can be found on our website at fox2detroit.com.
And for them to do this so quickly, though, it must mean that there is a lot more to this, that maybe some things that have not even been released, correct?
Well, it is very, very thorough in what they state here. Their reasons for doing it. They cite actions on Tucker's part, things that have come up in the investigation. So to your point, everything is right here. Okay. This is lawyered up. This is well put together. This is their way of getting out of paying him $80 million. That's what that is. And their way of severing his ties to the university. This is about Mel Tucker no longer coaching at Michigan State. That didn't seem in question, but was in question was the $80 million remaining on his contract. This is Michigan State's legal way within a contract to terminate it.
And the fight will continue upwards for both sides here. But, you know, Charlie Langton has talked about that morals clause and how exacting the words are in the morals clause. And it'll be interesting to see how that's interpreted.
The next move obviously would belong to Mel Tucker and his attorneys. We will see where it goes from here. But Michigan State making their intentions clear today.
All right. Dan, thank you for the latest on that.
Now to breaking news in Dearborn Heights, where we know right now, I think we actually...
police right now are on the scene, and so is Fox News' Jessica Dupnack. It's a shooting out there, a teenager.
Yeah, the scene shifted a little bit here out in Dearborn Heights. Our main cross is Telegraph and Joy Road. We're understanding we are at the scene of a shooting where a 16-year-old boy was shot inside a house here in Dearborn Heights. Understand that there is possibly some kind of fight that has erupted near the scene. Looks like Michigan State Police is on here to assist with that. But what we do know at this point, first of all, let's take a look at some video a little bit closer to the scene. As we got moved back just a little bit ago, we do understand that a 16-year-old somehow was shot in the face. That's a 16-year-old boy. He is in critical condition right now, escorted to a nearby hospital by police. That was earlier today. Now, we don't understand quite yet the circumstances that surround this situation, but we have been told by Dearborn Heights Police that there is no threat to the public at this time. The street we're on right now is Grayfield and Constance. That's near Telegraph and Joy. Now, Brian, our photographer, can use. It looks like right now, we'll take a look at the video that we have live, that there is some kind of fight that has erupted near the scene. Again, this all unfolding just as we're going live here, so bear with us. Michigan State Police are on scene to possibly handle that situation. A bit of a crowd has gathered near the scene, kind of a secondary scene on top of this shooting. Police a little bit frantic Atlantic at this point. We can't see, but we're going to get a better vantage point. But for now, again, monitoring the condition, that critical condition of a teenager shot in Dearborn Heights earlier today. We will, of course, stay out here and continue to follow this breaking news. For now, live in Dearborn Heights, Jessica Dupnack, Fox 2 News.
And Jessica, this is obviously, you can see it, it's an active scene right now. I'm assuming since this happened in the middle of the day, there may be some witnesses out there, or as we've seen in the past, certainly people have doorbell cameras and other things of that nature that maybe police will be able to work with.
Yeah, from what I understand, that the teenager was not alone there, possibly some other teenagers, so definitely witnesses, and it has been a pretty active scene. Lots of what I would presume friends and family out here. But yeah, middle of the day, someone probably saw something, and of course, as you mentioned, those cameras.
All right, thank you, and we know police are hard at work trying to solve this one. All right, we'll check back with you later. Thanks, Jessica. Well, day 4 of the UAW strike tonight. There is no word the two sides made much progress over the weekend.
And that means workers will be relying on strike pay from the union to make ends meet, and that can be tough. Fox 2's Dave Kinchin has been working this story since it broke. He joins us live outside Michigan Assembly in Wayne. And Dave, people are telling you about their concerns. Maybe the strike pay just isn't enough.
Yeah, a lot of people have major concerns. Kind of hard to hear you guys because, car horns can say a lot of things. People say a lot of things with the horn, but what they're saying is they drive by. Michigan Assembly is solidarity with the workers here, very concerned about their own financial futures. Now, we do know also on this day 4, there's been development over the last couple of days. Stellantis, bringing back the whiteboard here, offering their deal up to 21% in wage increases. The union said no way to that. Now people are also watching Canadian auto workers to see what they do to their union Unifor, including union workers there who work for Ford in Canada. They may be striking as well. Day 4 of the targeted UAW strike at Ford Michigan Assembly in Wayne, and workers are standing firm in their demands for a fair deal. But many are feeling more anxious about their personal financial future as each day passes.
I'm from the body shop, so we just found out that we can get strike pay. We haven't heard much more than that.
Sarah Walker says the uncertainty is significant. Striking workers here are part of the first phase of protest against the Big Three, but Ford recently told 600 other Michigan Assembly employees not to show up for work because the components they make need to be painted, and the paint team is out picketing.
It is nerve-wracking because we don't know. We don't know when it's going to end. We don't know what the outcome is going to be, so we're all just kind of in a I don't know position right now. Yeah, it's going to be tough. I come from, you have to have a 2-income household these days, so obviously it's not ideal to be on strike, but we're here to do what we need to do.
Are you prepared for this to go as long as it might possibly go?
I am, but if Sarah is younger than me and she's a newer person to the company, she might not have the money that I have saved, and it would be harder on her and her family. So we're trying to look out for everybody.
Talks between the UAW and Big Three picked up over the weekend, but saw little progress according to sources. Stellantis upped their offer from a 17.5% increase in pay to 21%, but Union President Shawn Fain told national media Sunday they remain focused on 40% hourly wage increases over the next 4 years.
And the reason we asked for 40% pay increases is because in the last 4 years alone, the CEO pay went up 40%. They're already millionaires.
Right. Meantime, striking workers are eagerly awaiting any sign of victory.
I'm just wondering how the negotiations are going, if we're getting anywhere with Ford. That's our biggest concern because we are Ford employees.
Meantime, UAW President Fain held a press conference on Friday after that rally and solidarity march, and he was pressed by reporters when asked about how the strike fund will support as many workers who are on strike as possible. He said a lot of those details are still being worked out, and a lot of workers we talked to say they're looking to hear more about how all of that will shape out for them as the strike continues. And we also know that pensions have been a big issue in all of this as well. The union wants to restore a lot of those classic pensions and end that tier system, but again, all sides very far apart on all of that. Reporting live in Wayne, Dave Kinchin, Fox 2 News.
And so you had talks over the weekend. You had talks again on Monday morning. I know Sean Fain is quoted as saying that the talks were minimal at best, and now he's saying the ball is back in the Big Three's court. You wonder if other plans are to follow to try to make even a stronger point.
Yeah, you really do wonder that, especially considering all of the money the Big Three stands to lose here as each day of this goes on. They've gone up to 21%. Stellantis, Ford, and GM remained at 20%, so still a big gap there, and with a lot at stake, so still a lot to be sorted out, and not a lot of progress, it seems, from all sides we've talked with.
And a lot at stake for the households of the people, the men and women behind you who are trying to make a point with this strike. It'll be interesting to see how this all pans out, hoping for a resolution for both sides soon. Dave Kinchin for us live tonight. Thank you.
Meanwhile, the union that represents auto workers in Canada is preparing to go on strike against Ford tonight if no deal is reached. Unifor's contract expires at 11:59 p.m. with all three of the Big Three automakers. The union has chosen Ford as its target and is concentrating on its negotiations with the company. Once Unifor reaches a deal with Ford, either with or without a strike, it will work to get GM and Stellantis to accept the Ford deal as a pattern for those contracts. The last strike against Ford in Canada was back in 1990.
Well, there's a warm-up on the way as we mark this final week of summer.
Yes, Weather Authority Rich Luderman has our first look at the forecast, but you can still feel the fall in the air, Rich.
Yes, the last week of summer, it's upon us, and it's very nice out there. A couple of isolated showers up there in the Thumb region along the St. Clair River. They're fizzling out quickly. We're at 67, 65 Ludington. Numbers in the 50s up there in the UP. Now, late tonight, there could be some northern lights visible. We'll be watching that closely. Clearing skies after sunset. There's not going to be a lot of moon out there. So late tonight, go out there and take a look north and be patient, and you just may see some of the northern lights. Decreasing clouds, that's our forecast, down to 50, and then a long, nice stretch into the weekend and beyond. We'll check that 7-day coming up in 10.
All right, thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon. You at 5, the search is on tonight for the suspect who stabbed the man to death at a West Side gas station today. It happened in the parking lot of the Exxon station at West Verner and Central around 10:30 this morning. Investigators haven't released the name of the victim. We're also waiting right now for police to release a description of the suspect. A friend of the victim telling Fox 2 Crews she believes an ongoing argument between her friend and the suspect led to the stabbing.
4 teenagers are arrested for a shooting in Warren that led to lockdowns at multiple schools. 2 16-year-olds and 2 17-year-olds were taken into custody today at Warren Woods Tower High School. They're facing attempted murder and armed robbery charges. We're told the victim in the last week's shooting was shot multiple times and is now paralyzed. Police are also looking for one more juvenile suspect in this case.
Well, several gatherings across the state today calling for a crackdown on domestic violence.
Yes, there is a series of bills in Lansing right now that will prevent people convicted of domestic violence from buying firearms. Fox 2's Camila Mary has the latest.
I'm here as a mother, a social worker, an advocate, and a survivor.
I myself grew up in a household where there was domestic violence involving a firearm, and last year my sorority sister, who introduced my husband and I, was murdered by her husband.
Press conferences held throughout Michigan Monday, speakers urging state lawmakers to pass laws that would prohibit someone convicted of domestic violence from purchasing or owning firearms for 8 years after their sentence.
It is entirely about preventing domestic violence and protecting survivors from further abuse.
Kezia Kelly sharing her story at Church of the Messiah on Detroit's East Side.
I packed getaway bags, one for my office and one at my parents'. I was terrified night and day. For safety, I only let my parents and one close friend know about the abuse inside our home. Had there been a law in place where I knew without a shadow of a doubt that his guns would be taken and that our local law enforcement would be able to take those from him, I would have been able to have left sooner.
Currently, 31 states have this type of law on the books.
So I'm asking our leaders in Lansing, please listen to us. Close any and all loopholes, stand with us, and don't ignore our stories.
It's on us.
Yes.
We are called to action.
Yep.
Thoughts and prayers alone are not enough.
Camila Mary, Fox 2 News.